IDBM Challenge, Season 1, Episode 14. They say setting up a company is relatively easy, but for what purposes? What is the deeper meaning? In today's episode, we spoke with Johannes about aesthetic entrepreneurship and finding deeper meaning in your next unicorn. Enjoy!
Guys, my name is Johannes. I'm invited to this session by Miikka and his team. I don't yet know what this will be about, but they asked me to make a short introduction to start with. So I work at that School of Arts at Aalto with the entrepreneurial issues, designing different programs with that topic, and also currently working with Professor Peter McGrory and School of Science on something that's called Startup Experience. Our idea is to put in elements that students at arts learn and faculty at arts master into the business context of entrepreneurship. And my personal passion is something that I would like to call éclat. It's a French term meaning stardom or something like that. So in today's business world, it's not enough to master the subject or the topic. You need to be able to communicate it and communicate the vision. And to be able to do that, so you need to have different sort of skills, I believe, than we teach the students and possible entrepreneurs today. And that's more or less what I believe we are going to discuss here in this session, and I elaborate that a bit more when you get the discussion going on. Please join us here and let's see what happens.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Johannes.
Thanks, Miikka.
It's always a pleasure having you around and hearing all your stories. Could you actually elaborate a bit on like what have you done in the past? Like you've done like many amazing things and.
Well, okay, if that's of interest. So I started my career in a mental asylum, working with people with mental disorder. I was supposed to be a physician, a doctor in that field, but somewhere around those studies, so I kind of lost a bit of interest in that and hopped into call it commercial world. So starting from this sociological angle, human angle, so I went in the commercial world, working with different stuff like fast food, McDonald's kind of a thing, running big restaurants in Sweden, in Stockholm, competed with McDonald's. It was a clock restaurant chain, which was in Helsinki, by the way, by the time also. Okay. So I was running that sort of businesses, and in the consultant companies. I came to Finland early 90s, working a management consultancy called Service Management Group, which actually was founded by Kai Sturbacka and Jaromir Lehtinen, professors in the field of service management. But that's, way back, so probably you weren't. You were around, but you were not by there. So, but that's more or less the background. And then, having touched the advertising field for a while, I started a venture capital company, because the idea was that I was involved with Karhu Originals, the sneaker business, which we started from scratch with the team, building the product and building the supply chain, building the distribution, everything. And during that work, so I met a lot of Swedes, of course, and UK guys and American guys, and learned a lot from those, how to master the field of fashion, being the street fashion, but nevertheless fashion. And took a lot of those learnings and talked to entrepreneurs here in Finland, which were active in the same field. What should we do so we can get this sort of businesses coming up from Finland also, not only Sweden and UK and those countries. So everybody told me that it's about money. We would do this if we have money. and nobody's investing us. So I was thinking that, all right, if it's the money thing, so why not start a company, venture capital company, who kind of has this angle to invest in fashion or lifestyle-driven Finnish companies. So I started Royal Majestics, to build a team around that, and we raised a fund from where we invested in this sort of a company. During that work, I realized it's not about money. These companies, they were passionate about the product or whatever that product might be, collection, clothing collection, fashion collection, but there was very, very little understanding about call it the money issue. So I found out that if you invest in that kind of a company amount, doesn't take that long, the money, so to say, vanishes.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that's the main trigger for me being interested in working at Aalto, trying to get these younger students early enough to understand the business logics of design-driven or design-centric companies. That the logics are the same, even if you sell kind of a hard steel. You need to get more than you invest in. So that's no difference. But the ways to do it, of course, is a big difference, and that's, I think, what we discuss about here now.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was that the kind of a good answer, but
No bad answers.
So that's sort of stuff, and we were testing these, I mean, unknowingly, these sort of ideas when we were working with Karhu Originals. So if you come with a product to a market where there are a lot of similar products, I mean, like Adidas Originals, Nike old Air Forces, and Onitsuka Tigers and those. So not exactly anybody was waiting for us. There wasn't a person waiting for, I need a new pair of sneakers. So you kind of needed to put up the story, the vision, why we are around, and we chose that we are here for people who dislike Nike.
That's cool. Yeah.
That was our vision or our main message, not written, not like an advertising tagline.
Yeah,
what we communicated, and that had its roots in a thing that in an evolution where Nike became a big American company, and many people, younger people, they sort of disliked American big companies because they were not good.
Yeah.
And Nike became to be that kind of a company, but still they wanted sneakers. Were cool. So that's why we chose this tagline. We communicated that, and with those resources, 15 years back. So I think we did pretty well, anyways, taking it to 18 countries as a distribution.
I mean, that's an awesome feat, I think.
Yeah.
And also, because the story behind Karhu is quite unique as well. So how did you actually transition? Because Karhu used to be like this for these professional athletes.
It was.
So how did you transition to this kind of streetwear?
Well, the truth was that, and still is, no, not Karhu anymore, but the truth was that Karhu has already been working with Jyväskylä University in a biomechanics or some sort of a research group, testing their product before they take it to the market. Is it this functional product, a running shoe? And we knew by the time that they are able to come up with a product which actually scientifically shows that you need 5% less oxygen running a distance with this Karhu shoe than you use with the top of the line by the time Asics. But nobody cared. Not the distribution, they didn't take it. So we decided what would be the way to get the distribution interested in our top runner. So that's why we choose to go to the streetwear market and build up this original, which didn't of course exist, but was a startup.
And also I guess kind of emotional attachment, you want to have this kind of emotional attachment to a brand or products. I mean, even though it can sound a bit silly, but I mean there's really kind of truth behind that.
Yeah, and of course there's a thin line when you sort of start to be a loser, if you all the time kind of take these negative connotations in the play, like this testosterone drugs or whatever. But then you need to master that storytelling, of course.
Yeah.
So that's a thin line. I don't know really, is it teachable or not? That is teachable, and those are, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at least, you know, when I think about like kind of echoing what you said, I mean, it sounds that, you know, it's about also like within the team, the founding team, or the or within like yourself, like individual level, it's to a large extent it's about authenticity, you know, finding your own way.
That's a good word, and there's a lot of posers certainly in call it the fashion business. A lot of posers, and generally speaking, these posers need a lot of money to succeed.
Yeah,
you know, that's the equation more or less. But the less you are a poser, the more you are like an authentic person, the less money you need to pursue your messages. I found out, and we found out, and we believe in. And for example, the first trade show we had, it was in Paris. Of all places, we took Paris because it was the kind of most difficult place to do anything about.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing, we had our first collection, and then there was a crowd of Japanese guys coming because they have this nose for new stuff. They were heard somewhere probably that there's something that we should look at. What is that? And they found us. And my colleague Jani Pöse, by the time, Jani who's a filmmaker today, I don't know if you know him. Yeah. So he was showing our sample models to this Japanese. And was telling that this, if I remember correctly, the origin for this sneaker was the javelin throwing shoe, which looked like this in the picture. But we did this and this and this, and as you can see, so it's like, and when he made this, so it cracked the sole part from the upper, kind of the glue lost traction.
Yeah.
But he didn't stop. Well, this wasn't a good product, so he threw it, you know, behind the fence and just continued with the next product. You know, and that was something that really made those Japanese people like, who are these guys? You know, we weren't kind of a trained salesmen.
Yeah.
We were like normal guys, and I believe those authentic things happened during the time. Our travel, and not to forget Jaloviina, which we decided to have as a partner when we go abroad.
That's an interesting combination.
1-star Jaloviina, not 3 stars.
Specifically 1 star.
1 star. And then, well, you know, step by step, you start to understand the business logics, particularly in that field.
Yeah.
And one great understanding for us was that you need to make yourself interesting to your competitors at the trade show.
Yeah.
Because they are meeting people, their clients after the trade show, and they are probably telling the story if that's a good story. So Jaloviina played a role, not like boozing people under the table, but having this sort of a conversation piece. After the day closes, everybody went to their hotels except those guys who came to our booth, and that was always crowded because of this conversation piece, which kind of started discussion about the collection, about the models of our story, and that was only one sip or whatever, but they found that this is not champagne. It's not like this poser stuff. It's about something they haven't met before, and you know, those elements.
And it's really cool actually, like, you know, because we have so many stories like in the Finnish culture and the history of Finland, like it's so like full of all these interesting things we can actually communicate and rely on. It's not only like nature, but also like our nature and, you know, who we are and who we want to be. And
I think that kind of draws a picture of us as personalities, you know, which I think is very important. Draws a picture of us personalities, and not sort of digging yourself down in the hole of suffering in the war and that kind of stuff we hear once a year, the 6th of December, and the tanks on the border, which are blah blah blah. But using those fundamentals which are quite close to us still, and you know, in a positive, in an interesting way to combine with your commercial product, the whole sort of a story. It's not about sneakers only. It's about us as persons. It's about our kind of a country, if you believe. Not that has negative connotation today if you talk about country of Finland, and you know, but I think you understand what I mean.
Yeah, not like in a, I mean, you can be like a nationalistic person in a right way, like, you know, you can be proud of your heritage.
Exactly. We were thinking actually by the time, so I was working with some, not working, I was thinking about the thing, going around and asking people what did they know about Iceland before Björk?
Yeah.
Probably there was this Vatnajökull and, you know, these tiny horses, and that
Yeah.
was about it. But Björk made something about that tiny country, which is like 312,000 people or something like that.
Mhm.
Made it interesting, made it like éclat, you know, something we need to take a closer look at.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, yeah, as you said, like, you know, finding the right team and, you know, like the guys and girls who make things happen.
Yeah, and who share or you share their vision, or so you have a common idea. Why do we start every morning to do this stuff?
Yeah.
And that's extremely important. So you have a common vision, and that's not money. I can guarantee the driver is not money.
Yeah.
As the day you start to think about, I'm going to make lots of money, of course somebody succeeds in that. But in general, those guys are not even funny guys. They're like greedy fuckers, you know. And no,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. So persons who you want to be with and come with something interesting to other people. That's very, very important.
Yeah.
I mean, that's meaning of life, more or less, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So building on that, what kind of advice would you give to our students at IDBM?
Isn't IDBM, if I take the flipboard approach here, or the blackboard approach, isn't IDBM exactly what Aalto should be?
Mm-hmm.
Combining these three elements, business, tech and design. So probably they are these students in the program for this reason, I believe.
Yeah.
So now, of course, it depends on the person a lot, what sort of advice fits him or her. But I think I still too often find that people, for example, with designer desire or designer background, still want to be in a slot being a designer. And referring back to this Karhu stuff, which I was talking about. So it's not about designing; it's about doing something and communicating it. So I believe that the collaboration with different people, so different-minded people, is the first advice I would give. Maybe I'm biased here a bit, but I still find that it's not too often that the School of Arts, for example, people there communicate with the School of Business students or School of Engineering. They do not do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, probably it will change when the campus is ready in Otaniemi. You know, you have the same bars and, you know, so
Exactly.
you meet people automatically. That will solve part of it. But yeah, so this looking outside your own fence, behind your own fence, is very important, certainly in IDBM. It's important for everybody, but in IDBM, because you should have different kinds of people in the program, don't you? I mean,
Exactly.
yeah.
Awesome, Johannes. And now now for something completely different.
All right.
Have you seen? Was it called James Lipton? You know, he was interviewing these actors on the stage, and you know, he had this association task. So he was giving out.
No.
Okay, so I have a set of words for you, and kind of
Alright.
free flowing. Just one word. How would you describe each of these with like one word? Nothing too serious, but just.
All right.
Okay, are you ready?
Shoot.
Okay, success,
Pleasure.
technology,
Usable.
space,
Needed.
business,
Something negative. I don't know. I don't have it. Something that doesn't resonate. A word doesn't resonate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Innovation,
Too often used word in wrong context.
future,
We make it, I believe.
strategy,
Goes same with the innovation.
Mhm.
But the strategy is actually fighting the thing differently than the others.
design,
Has the possibility to make people feel good.
IDBM.
Hopefully becoming what I understand it is or should be.
IMDb.
Was it the internet, the movie site?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I prefer Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay. Thank you. On that note, always a
Miikka.
pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.